Yo, what's up guys, this is Mosen here with MTA, and for this week, or this day, it's the 18th of January 2019. Welcome back here, and today's topics, we're gonna go a little bit into update what we've been doing, because we haven't been on the YouTubes a lot lately, but that's gonna change again. Don't worry about it, I promised, so that's gonna be coming soon. I hope you're all doing good, and we're gonna jump right into the topics, because we've still got a lot of work to do, real life and in game, you know how it is. First, what has been happening in the last couple of days, we've been, the guild's been growing, we have the guild here back, and you know, we are freaking 283 people here at this moment. That's right now today, and we've been going into MC and Zul'Gurub so far. We did our first raids on the server, and actually we managed to clear Molten Core in the first 40-man raid we did here. So we formed what, like 4 weeks ago or something, and were able to go into Molten Core and clear it in the first run. Got some recruits in from another guild, and that all came out to be very, very, very good. It was a really smooth run too, like you know, maybe like 1 wipe or so. I think 2 wipes on Gar, and that 1 on Ragnaros, and that was it. So it's good. If you're in Northdale, you still need a raiding guild. What we really need is warlocks, fury warriors, and priests, of course. The usual, you know how it is. So that's what we've been doing. Yesterday we cleared ZG the first time, and so that's basically what we're doing. We got the flask recipes going on. We got all the recipes, you know, for the guild. So we've been a little bit lucky as well. Maybe it's a good omen. And yeah, right now we're getting ready to tackle Blackwind there, and Sunday we're doing Oni, which is not going to be very hard. We just didn't get to it yet because we focused on MC. We've actually been tanking in there. So, you know, I saw a lot of questions in the comments regarding the Prot Paladin and the tanking. So we're gonna jump in the right in the first topic, and that came in from Mason. And Mason was asking, could you please make a video showing your gear and macros and specs, please? And he has another question. I'm gonna go into that after this. So since I'm gonna make a guide, still, this is still what I'm going to do, but I need more insight, especially from, you know, Oni and at least Blackwind Lair. But I can give you a little update on how it is right now. So let's make today's video just a little bit of an update from the first raiding experiences and all. So Mason, here's the current state of the game. So I thought about making these gear update videos once in a while, because I think it can be pretty cool or pretty fun to see that, you know, what has changed and whatnot. So right now, as of right now, this is the gear status. Okay, it's nothing crazy yet, right? Since well, Deathbone isn't upgraded yet. We have to wait for the AQ gates to open until Deathbone is good. So for now, we're not wearing Deathbone or one piece. So this is the head. This is the Uber's head right here. We got the frost resistance one, which is okay. I want to get the fire res if I can. So that's pretty straightforward. You know, 20 stamina, 9 def, and a little bit of resistance. That's from Uber's, the Drake. We bought this one, the Medallion of Grand Marshal Morris. These we had for a long time now. The Stockhead Pauldrons, still very good. We farmed the Readout Cloak. It finally dropped in Tribute. Dire Maul Tribute, that is. That's such a good loot. And the Deathbone chest, you know that already. That's the piece we're already wearing because it's already good. Then I got these from the auction house, the Abyssal Plate, because bracers, defense bracers, there's nothing really that's worth it for me. Sometimes there's like 4 defense on it, but nothing else or something. And you know, I figured a mana regen is actually a thing for prots. With raid buffs, it's a little bit different, but it certainly helps. You know, this combined with raid buffs makes you you aren't completely dry on mana all the time. So I got these from the, I believe it's from Silithus, 10 gold or so, from Silithus Lords. Whatever, it has stamina on it, a lot of armor, it has healing, so it's also my healing set, and with the enchant it has 8 MP5, so that really helps a lot. We got our Kelsarar, right, because Forest dropped in our first Darmol run in West. For now I put Lifestealing on it because it was a cheap enchant, just to have it. And then we got the Draconian Deflector, of course enchanted with 2% block for Prot Paladin. Just such a really good shield. Yesterday we got the Blood-Soaked Gauntlets. So that is from ZG, from Jindo. Pretty good gauntlets right there. An extra dodge and a little bit more strength to block. Still the quest item, Stalwart Clutch from Burning Steps quest. We got the Judgment Leg plates actually. So that's really good from the rag kill. So I can't really complain about this. You know, we had a couple of Holy Pellies there, but they all, you know, had Padres and everything, so we gave this one to me the first time, and then the rest is going to be open for Holy Pellies because I can't really get anything else. So, you know, those are really crazy good for Prot. 20 spell damage, MP5 on it, 27 int, that's also a lot for the healing set. A lot of stamina, strength, resistances, armor, everything. So that was a really good loot for now, until the Death Bone gets really good, but this might be better than the Leg Plates. I'm not sure yet, I'll have to check. This is the biggest piece of shit in our gear right now, the Lightforge boots still. So we really need to get something, but also boots is... Deathbone is still shit, so I was hoping for some tier 1 boots. I want to get the 3 set tier 1 bonus for the Judgment of Light to keep that up for the raid. Oh yeah, but it has a lot of stamina, so it's not really that bad, but you know. Then we also took this ring, because nobody obviously wanted it. This ring is probably only good for Prot Pally for a little while. It's a starting ring, I didn't have anything really better. I had a ring with 3 defense on it. But obviously, you know, 11 int, some spirit, 11 stamina, resistances and MP5. It's just a bit stronger than those 3 defense. The 3 defense would be 0.2% block and parry. So that one for me right now is a pretty good starting ring. Then we got the Songstone of Ironforge, and it's good spell damage. We got the Ragnar's Trinket as well, the Essence of the Pure Flame, inflicts 13 fire damage to attackers and strikers, and the Force of Will. And that's basically my all-round tanking kit. I got an AoE kit, and Salad was so nice to buy a Skullflame shield for me, so he sponsored that, thank you. And you know, it's pretty good. We put a spike on it, so anytime we block, there's a lot of damage. And this is basically my AoE kit. Yeah, what I found is the life drain itself can crit, and the healing from the life drain stacks with your I think spell power or healing, spell power and healing. The equip bonus, the second one that strikes stuff with a fire flame, is so rare that you can basically neglect it. It's not. It's nice when it happens. It's a gimmick, but not a. This really does not proc often at all, even in AoE situations. The drain is pretty good combined with this drain chest that has the same effect, just puts a dot on it. So what you could do is, you know, get the ZGX with the drain, and then you have like a drain set for AoE. I don't know, but it would be still on the single target. So the Skullflame shield, it's pretty good for AoE, right? It provides a lot of armor as well, and I got this one crafted, the Masterwork Stormhammer, and put the Fiery Blaze enchant on it. So the Fiery Blaze enchant is probably one of the better ones. The best enchants for AoE situations. You want to get an AoE weapon and that enchant on it for sure. In my opinion, for now, you know, because it just procs so much, 15%, and with Seal of Righteousness you have 30%. That's right now. I don't know if that stays. So it procs the whole time, and it can also crit and just does 9 to 14 damage flat to everything around you. The hammer itself, the proc is pretty often, right? It costs a lot of money, this hammer, so if you don't really want to spend the money, it's no big deal. But if you have the luxury or a little bit of gold laying around, I crafted this to test it out, and this hammer in combination with Fiery Blaze, probably the best AoE combination, before raids, and I would definitely recommend this if you can get the money. So this hammer is pretty cool, and the Chain Lightning can also crit, and it just jumps to targets. It feels cool, it looks cool, it deals a lot of damage, and can crit. I think the highest crit I had was 240, right? And it's a pretty good weapon. It's okay speed, and the Fiery Blaze on top of that just has big AoE potential. So that I would recommend. Hammersmiths can make that. And yeah, that's basically the tank and the AoE set, right? We got the fire resistance set, obviously. That's nothing too special. The UD tanking set with the trinket. We got a healing set that we're starting to get on. And because you asked about the spec, you want to build your healing set for sure, 100%. So we got a little bit of healing set going on. It's all pretty good already, but 1 or 2 items can be replaced. So you were asking about the gear macros and spec macros. I'm not a big macro user at all. What the macros I use are basically non-existent. When I played Hunter, I used a trap macro, and when I play Warrior, I used nothing really. I mean, and a pull macro as a raid lead for precasts, and that's it. I don't really use a lot of macros. And technically you don't really need macros. What you could get is a macro that bubbles and then instantly removes the bubble again. That's like the only macro I can think of. Or the same for bop. Actually bopping. I think a good macro would be if you bop a target. But you can't, I don't think you can do that. Oh yeah, you could maybe do that. If you wanna, for example in ZG I noticed when the warrior or me was off tanking the raptor and the debuff stacked, the physical debuff stacked on me, and you wanted to get rid of the armor shred, what you could do is bop yourself real quick, or bubble real quick and then unclick it, or bop somebody else and then cast another blessing on him to cancel the bop instantly. So that's the only macro I can think of. I don't know how to do that, man. I've never been a macro guy ever. I'm really bad at that. So macros, you'd have to find out. I fear you'd have to find out yourself, but I could, maybe if I remember, I'll do that in the guide, because it can be pretty interesting. Or you just quick, you bubble, and then you can. I don't like macros also because when I bubble to get rid of a debuff or anything, I want to be able to choose the time when I unclick it. Maybe there's something else flying at me. I want to tank that into the bubble and then unclick it. So I just like to have control over that. Spec. The spec right now is actually 20 points in Holy, so we change it up a little bit. 20 points in Holy. We got Illumination and the Add Heal, Consecration, 5 Fear Resistance for Raid and PvP. And we went back to Seal of Righteousness, the improved version. And here's the reasons. So first of all, we used to have a couple points in here in Benediction and in the parry rating, which makes sense for a tank, but the status right now is just that in Molten Core, and just in Molten Core, that's where we are right now. It's these 15% mana, saving these 15% mana sounds good in theory, is good later, I guess, but it doesn't make all that much of a difference. So per seal, you're saving 30 mana. And sure, I mean, it's not, if you're spamming the seals because you're unsure of what to use the whole time, then you're gonna be So you want to focus on practicing what seals to use when. So you start a pull, and to get the initial aggro, you judge Seal of Righteousness, then you put up the Wisdom. Or you're better, it depends what works for you. You put on a Consecration, judge Wisdom instantly and use your Seal of Righteousness, and then you go on. etc. So it depends on how you play. If you spam your seals the whole time because you're unsure of which, you fuck it up the whole time, because fuck, I wanted to use this, oh no, now I need this, now I judged the wrong thing. You need to focus on knowing what seals to use at what time, and then you don't need this talent, technically speaking, for now, and that's an MC. If we get into Blackwing Lair and I see that I'm gonna be tanking way more, because MC is the worst dungeon for Prot. You're not tanking a whole lot. You're tanking, I believe we said, how many bosses are in there? 10? You tank in 6 or 7. 6. You're tanking 6 bosses out of 10. That's not all that much. And the 4 parry is nice. It's okay. It's certainly strong, but the thing is, if this 15% mana really doesn't go into, it doesn't really have a big effect on your gameplay. If anything, at the start it's probably more important because you're saving mana, but it could be more important later when you're tanking much more, coming with AQ40 and Nax, especially Nax. It could be interesting. But then again, you're gonna have a lot of mana and you're gonna have Seal of Wisdom up and all, so these, again, the talent sounds good, is not as good in practice for the status right now. And the 4 parry, sure, it's a good tanking talent, but the thing is, I could also get the 5 points in illumination and the extra healing and be a full healer when I just switch my set. And at the moment, we're also building a guild. You can't neglect that we're also having the guild, and we're just in MC and ZG right now, and we want to tackle Blackwing Lair. And there will just be bosses where there's no room for tanking as a pally. And so what I'm gonna do then is just switch the gear, and I have all needed talents. With these talents, you're completely full, they're 95% holy pally, full healer. You're missing niche talents. It's not very important. So in that situation, I can just go and be a full healer. Just need to enchant my gear and get a good main hand, and then I'm complete full healer for those situations, and I'm much more useful to the raid, which makes the Prot Paladin good as well, because a 4th Prot warrior, for example, he would just be there, and if he's not tanking, he's swinging the Nightfall with a really bad uptime, and you can switch in healing gear with these talent sets and be a good healer. So this is probably like the most versatile spec, deep Prot, nothing in red, and you go here 20 points in holy, because you can just switch the set and be a full healer. What you can also do is switch the set into holy gear, get a Nightfall, and swing the Nightfall in holy gear with Seal of Righteousness, and be a Dispel bot, and keep the mad Nightfall uptime on the boss, and generate so much damage out of thin air that it's going to be crazy. And if needed, you're going to be in holy gear, and you can just stop swinging the Nightfall a little bit and help healing on heavy damage spikes. You can top off the group again and keep swinging the Nightfall, and because you can switch weapons and fight as well, you're seeing, okay, the Nightfall is no longer needed, I'm just going to equip my main hand and offhand and switch to healing. So that's probably one of the big versatile things that a Prot Paladin offers to the raid, on top of Blessing of Sanctuary. And then on the next boss, you will be needed as tanking again, and you're gonna switch your gear, and boom, there you are. And after that, once you're done tanking your shit, you equip the Nightfall again, and you have a mad uptime of 50% on the boss, and your cast is gonna love you. So this is what I found for now is gonna be the good spec as we progress into Blackwing Lair and AQ40 most of all, because I think that's where it's gonna start. These talents in here with the mana saving mana and the more parry might come in more valuable than this again. Also taking into consideration that you will have more geared healers, and switching gear can already be enough, right? It could already be enough for off healing when needed. You might not need this because your gear is usually not as good. That illumination makes a huge factor, but for now this is very much needed. And it could be enough if you just go out of illumination, keep the extra healing from flash of light, and then go into the mana reduction. But at that point you could also just get the parry and be a really good tank and switch your gear, because your gear is going to be better in AQ40, so you might not need the holy talents anymore and go full Prot. That's also preference though, right? You don't need to have these talents. So that's the status right now. So far, the tanking has been... You can tank just fine. You're not squishy or anything, it's fine. You keep your holy shield up. You're a great AoE tank. Anything that has been AoE or even as off tank, you just guard, tanking 2 ads. You know, no problem. You know, assign the healers and you're gonna be fine. And so far it's been good, and you know, it's fun. It's working, right? And what I would really recommend is weaponry is very important. So you get a good shield. Then I have this AoE weapon here, the Masterwork Stormhammer for AoE situations, Fiery Blaze on it. I got my single target weapon because I got lucky. Yeah, in my opinion, you wouldn't have to spend money for Kel'Thuzad. Save it. You're not gonna use it. I got it, so I used it because the server, you know, last one. What I really want to recommend to you is Masterwork Stormhammer as AoE weapon. Perfect for AoE. You can switch weapons in fight. Don't forget about that. You get this one, or the Annihilator from the Riven Spike is from LBRS. It's from a rare mob, I think. It's a very slow one, okay? So this is for situations when you're not tanking and you're in tanking gear and you want to help out and increase the melee damage of your raid. Because it punctures the target's armor, lowering it by 200, and it stacks 3 times, so 600. It's the same as the Annihilator proc. And so you don't need to spend money for an Annihilator. Annihilator is a little bit better because it's quicker. But this one deals just more damage, so it really... if you don't want to spend money, get this one from LBRS. That's a support weapon for whenever you're in tanking gear and you're done tanking or whatever, or you want to, you know, just support the raid. So, support weapon, armor, shred, this one or Annihilator. Then you got Masterwork Stormhammer for AoE situations, Fire Blaze on it. And get this one, Fist of Stone, very, very important. Maraudon Landslide, the boss is called Landslide. Get this one, Fist of Stone. Whenever you equip it, right, get Seal of Righteousness up and hit it with, hit the target judge with Judgment of Light, Judgment of Wisdom. And you're gonna get a lot of mana back. This is your battery, okay? You're starting to get switch to this weapon and replenish mana. It procs quite a bit, and it really does help, right? It really does help. With Seal of Righteousness, you have a pretty good mana regen, especially at the start when you don't have a big mana pool. So these 3 weapons, I think, you know, an AoE weapon, a mana reg weapon, and a support weapon. And then what's missing right here is the Nightfall, right? It's the second support weapon, so that's what you want to get. But for now, I've been tanking Ragnaros. We've been tanking just fine. The only difference is that you know, it's gonna be you're a support class. You're a very versatile support class. You're a tank that can switch to healing and that can switch weapons according to the situation, which is very, very useful. And there's gonna be one spot for you, at least in you know, some guilds that allow this. And you don't need it. Don't get me wrong. You can have a Prot warrior on this just fine. But this one, I mean, one Prot Paladin just makes the whole raid. It's such a good supporter. And the 4th tank really doesn't do much anyway, except for tanking and not dealing damage, because he has to be Prot. And anything else, an off warrior could also off tank if you want, if you like. So having that one Prot is, in my opinion, absolutely worth it. And you're so versatile. Nightfall, armor puncture, off healing, big AoE tank. You deal a lot of damage. You know, it's mad. So that leaves me to let's get to the conclusion though, and that's the other question from Mason. Would you say a Prot Paladin is easier to play than a Prot warrior? And here I gotta really say, definitely not. This is, I mean, if you're new to tanking, go with a warrior or a feral tank even. This is for sure absolutely the hardest shit to pull off, because you need to have a good understanding of mana management. You have to you will need to understand how encounters work with threat reductions or you know, aggro resets. You need to know when it's better to heal, or you'll have people that need to tell you when to heal. You know, you'll need understanding of what weapons to use in what situation. And you know, if you use a consecration and shit just runs through, then it's GG. That wraps it up for me for now. Thank you to everybody who's been watching on the stream. I really enjoy that. That's why we haven't been on the YouTube so much. For now, really gotta run. We're gonna go into the other topics soon, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Mosen. Bye bye.